Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. This is going to be me reading my Twitter drafts part 2. I did this in October, and the reason why I'm doing this video is that I tend to write out tweets, like tweet drafts that are things that I was originally wanting to tweet but then decided not to, and this is also in my Twitter drafts is where I kind of keep some of my thoughts. A lot of them are bookish, but some of them aren't. But these are things that originally I wanted to tweet, but let's go. There's a couple on my phone here, and then there's some on the iPad, which is like underneath the camera, so if I'm looking down, I am sorry, but let's get started. Do you ever message your friend and they don't respond and you think to yourself, answer the message, you bitch? And then you realize you never actually sent the message. I did this and it was just like, oh, I was sending my friend a message and I thought I sent it and then I didn't, and then I realized I didn't send it. I was mad at myself. Both part 2s of Lord of Shadows and Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare have the same title, and that just threw me for a loop because it confused the shit about me. Yeah, so in Lord of Shadows and Queen of Air and Darkness, the part 2 has the same like title, like the same like title of that part, and that threw me for the loop when I was rereading. I was like, wait, I thought that was the label of, like, when I was reading Lord of Shadows, I was like, and I got to the part 2 and it said the title, and I was like, wait, I thought that is what part 2 of Queen of Air and Darkness was. I come to check that it was that. So, like, yeah. If the front door won't open and you're running from a creature, break a window and jump out of it. Not decide to go back upstairs and hide from said creature. Idiots. This I'm talking about a moment in a book that I've read multiple times. I say that every time. I'm like, there's a moment where the characters are running from this like creature, and the front door won't open. Nor the back door, none of the doors will open, but they're like jammed so you can't unlock it. And I'm like, jump through the window. Then I'm like thinking back, I'm like, I think the windows would have been too small to jump through anyways. And then the final one on the phone here is there's a TikTok that I found that I have to watch a million times a day, and it just makes me so happy. Yeah, you'll hear about this in once I get onto the iPad here, because I had a thing on there too. I should be asleep, but I'm gonna make popcorn and continue reading after we collide it instead. Yeah, that's me. I'll eat popcorn and watch a book, and I'll eat popcorn and watch a book. I'll make popcorn and read a book, or make popcorn and and watch TikToks instead of sleeping. Waiting for a show to be released on Netflix while having to avoid spoilers is so hard when everyone is talking about it. It is so hard. Yeah, this would have been in reference to episode 13 or 14 of the 100. It was like it was not quite the last episode, it was like 2 or 3 episodes from the last episode that I was waiting for it to get on Netflix, and I kept on hearing these things, and I'm like, oh no. Over the past few months, I've become such a I don't fucking care kind of person. Yeah, I'm like now just like towards the beginning of the year, I was like, oh yeah, I have all these plans, I want to do all this, yada yada yada, and now I'm like, I woke up. Whoopee, that's my goal for the day, is to wake up. Like, wake up, eat. That's my goal for the day. And the beginning of the year, I was like much more uptight, and now I'm much more chill and carefree and all of that. When you are scrolling through TikTok and someone talks about a book that made you cry, so you start crying because you're thinking about the characters. Yeah, this is in reference to They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. Somebody was talking about it on Book Talk, and I like started crying because then there's my Wattpad writing tweets, which that'll be a whole separate video of just what I was writing, what I was draft tweeting while writing. It's kind of funny. My 5-year-old cousin calls a diary a diarrhea, and I've been laughing my ass off for about 10 minutes. Yeah, we were babysitting my 5-year-old cousin at this point it'd be now over a month ago, and she was holding up like a little notebook and was like, "Can I make this my diarrhea?" And I was like, "Your what?" "Can I write in it like my diarrhea?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, say that one more time." "My diarrhea." And I was like, "You mean your diary?" "Yeah." And so it's like, that is something that I am going to remind her for years, is remember when you call the diarrhea diarrhea. And this is also involving my 5-year-old cousin. Every time my 5-year-old cousin mentioned my grandparents that are her great-grandparents, I cry because she won't shut up, and it makes me almost want to slap her to show her how much she's hurting inside. Yeah, she saw a photo of, like, yeah, we were babysitting my cousin. This would have been, I think, the same day as the last thing, where she and my uncle, which is her grandpa, went out to my grandpa's, her great-grandpa's house, because we're still having to deal with the estate three years later. And she was telling me about that, and then she wouldn't shut up about him, and then she mentioned my grandma. And the thing is, it's like, she only knew my grandpa for 2 years, well, not even 2 years, and then she only knew my grandma for about 4 years, versus I was 13 and 15 when they died. So I have much more memories of them, and she wouldn't shut up. I was like, "Can you please stop talking? Can you please stop talking?" Because she didn't realize how much she was hurting me by talking about them, especially because that happened right around the time that my other grandma passed away this year. So I was just talking about my grandparents was a really sore subject. It still is, but it's a lot better. How much of a procrastinator that I'm currently avoiding thoughts on 2 very different TV shows that I just finished by reading fanfic at 3 a.m. Yeah, I'm talking about the last 5 episodes of Julie and the Phantoms, and the final episode of The 100. I finished those in one night, and then it was like 3 a.m. by the time I finished The 100, and I was like, I can't think about this, let's read fanfiction till like 4 a.m. Yeah. And then this is, am I really listening to the song that played at my grandma's funeral at 1:30, crying on a Thursday, just because why the hell not? And then I needed a cry, so I did this again, and this time I included the song that is associated with the death of my grandpa. Yeah. These are 2 separate occasions. The song that played at my grandma's funeral was Supermarket Flowers by Ed Sheeran. And then the song that I associate with the death of my grandpa is See You Again by Wiz Khalifa.